Get out now. This isn't the project. You can't just walk in here with your welfare baby expecting a handout. Madison Pierce blocked the entrance. Her designer heels clicked on marble. Look at you. Probably can't even afford our appetizers. Did you wander in looking for the food bank? Simone Harper shifted baby Zoe gently. Her voice stayed calm. I have a reservation under Dr. Harper. 7:30. Dr. Harper, Madison laughed, cold, mocking. Right. And I'm the Queen of England. You people always lie, always trying to scam your way into places you don't belong. I can show you my confirmation. Simone reached for her phone. Madison's hand shot out. She slapped Simone hard across the face. The crack echoed through the restaurant. Simone's head jerked sideways. Zoe screamed, "Don't you dare reach for anything." Madison's eyes blazed with hate. Touch my podium again and I'll have you arrested. Your kind always ends up in handcuffs anyway. Wealthy diners stared. Diners. Some pulled out phones. Nobody moved. Have you ever watched injustice happen and done nothing? 8 hours earlier, sunlight streamed through the windows of Simone's townhouse. The smell of fresh coffee filled the kitchen. Zoe babbled in her high chair, tiny fists grabbing at air. Simone packed the diaper bag methodically. Wipes, diapers, extra clothes, bottle, pacifier. Her hands moved with the precision she used in the operating room. On the wall behind her hung framed photographs, medical school graduation. A surgical team in scrubs, all smiling. An award, youngest chief of pediatric surgery, Metropolitan General Hospital, and one more. A wedding photo, Simone in white. Daniel in a sharp suit, both laughing, both alive. That was before the car accident, before she became a widow at 33, before she learned to raise Zoe alone. Her phone buzzed. The hospital administrator, Dr. Harper, just confirming Monday's board meeting. The budget proposal looks excellent. Thank you, Margaret. I'll be there. She hung up and looked at the reservation confirmation on her screen. Label at 07:30 table for two. One adult, one infant. Daniel had proposed there 5 years ago, right at table 12, overlooking the garden. Every anniversary since they'd returned, ordered the same wine, shared the same dessert. This would be her first time going alone with Zoe, honoring his memory. She didn't know it would become a nightmare. Label it sat in the wealthiest district downtown, valet parking, a doorman in a tailcoat, crystal windows that glowed like jewels after dark. Inside, white tablecloths stretched across 40 tables. Each place setting cost more than some people's rent. The menu had no prices. If you had to ask, you couldn't afford it. The restaurant belonged to Elysian Dining Collective, a corporation that owned 127 high-end establishments nationwide. CEO Jonathan Wright rarely visited, but everyone knew the name. Everyone feared disappointing him. Madison Pierce had worked the Hostess podium for 3 years. She treated it like a throne. Her father owned half the real estate in the county. Her mother sat on charity boards and country club committees. Madison didn't need the job. She wanted it for the power, for the access to wealth, for the chance to decide who belonged and who didn't. She turned away customers before, always people of color. Always with excuses. We're fully booked. Your reservation was canceled. There must be a mistake in our system. The kitchen staff whispered about it. Servers complained quietly, but nothing changed. Madison's family had connections. Her father played golf with the regional manager, so she stayed. And she got worse. Derek Carter managed the floor. 45 years old, 20 years in the restaurant industry. He'd worked his way up from busboy to manager. He knew Madison's behavior was wrong, but he never stopped, never reported it, never intervened. He had a mortgage, 2 kids in college. He couldn't afford to lose this job, so he looked away, stayed silent, became complicit. That evening, as the dinner rush began, Madison checked her reflection in the podium's glass surface. Perfect hair, perfect makeup, perfect smile for the right people. She saw the reservation list. 7:30 Dr. S. Harper, party of 2. She assumed a man, probably a surgeon, probably white, definitely wealthy. She had no idea. At 6:45, Simone pulled into the valet circle. Zoe was awake, alert, dressed in a tiny pink dress. Simone wore simple elegance, a black dress, pearl earrings, minimal makeup. She looked beautiful, professional, respectable. None of it would matter. The valet, a young Latino man named Carlos, smiled warmly. "Good evening, ma'am. Enjoy your dinner." "Thank you." Simone handed him the keys. She lifted Zoe from the car seat, adjusted the baby against her hip, took a deep breath. Daniel's voice echoed in her memory. Best French food in the city. "Simone, you're going to love it." She'd loved it. Every year, every anniversary, the roasted duck, the chocolate seule, the view of the garden lit by fairy lights. Tonight, she'd love it for both of them. She walked toward the entrance. The doorman opened the heavy glass door. Classical music drifted out. Warm air, expensive perfume, the gentle clink of silverware in china. Madison looked up from her podium. Their eyes met, and everything Simone had planned, everything she'd hoped for, began to crumble. Simone walked to the podium. Zoe cooed softly against her shoulder. The restaurant hummed with quiet conversation. Forks scraped plates. Wine glasses clink-headed. Madison's eyes narrowed. She looked Simone up and down like she was examining garbage. "Can I help you?" The words came out sharp. No warmth. No welcome. "Good evening. I have a reservation for 7:30, Dr. Simone Harper." Madison didn't even glance at the computer screen. "We don't have any reservation under that name." Simone pulled out her phone. Her fingers moved smoothly across the screen. "Here's my confirmation email. I made the reservation 3 weeks ago. Table for 2. Madison barely looked. "That must be a mistake. We're completely booked tonight. Perhaps you'd be more comfortable at the diner down the street." "I hear they have high chairs." She smiled. Cold, cruel. "This isn't a mistake. I have a confirmed reservation." Simone kept her voice level, professional. "Could you please check your system? I don't need to check anything." Madison crossed her arms. "Look around. Do you see anyone here who looks like you? There's a reason for that. Standards." A couple at a nearby table glanced over. The woman whispered something. The man pulled out his phone. Simone felt heat rise in her chest, but she wouldn't give Madison the satisfaction. "I'd like to speak with your manager, please." "Oh, you want to speak to the manager?" Madison laughed loud enough for nearby tables to hear. "Let me guess. You're going to claim discrimination, play the race card. How original." Derek Carter appeared from the dining room. He'd heard the commotion. His face showed discomfort, but not intervention. "Is everything all right here, Madison?" "Just explaining our policies to this woman. No reservation, no table." Madison's voice was sugar-sweet now, performing for her boss. Derek looked at Simone, at baby Zoe. Something flickered in his eyes, maybe guilt, maybe recognition that this was wrong, but he said nothing. Simone turned to him. "Sir, I have a confirmed reservation. I can show you the email, the confirmation number. My credit card was charged a deposit." Derek hesitated. "Madison, maybe we should just check the I already checked." Madison cut him off. "There's nothing. And frankly, Derek, we have standards to maintain. Our clientele expects a certain atmosphere, a certain type of guest." She emphasized the last 3 words. The meaning was clear. The racism was clear. Derek's jaw tightened. But he stepped back. "I'm sure this is just a misunderstanding. Coward." That's what his silence said. Complicit coward. Simone reached toward the reservation book on the podium. "Let me just show you." Madison's hand flew up. She slapped Simone's hand away from the book hard. The sound cracked through the restaurant. "Don't you dare touch our property." Madison's voice rose. "This is private property. You're trespassing." Simone stumbled back. Zoe startled in her arms and began to cry. The baby's wails filled the elegant space. Several diners stood up. An elderly white couple near the window looked horrified. The man said something to his wife. She nodded and raised her phone. Recording. Madison stepped closer, aggressive, invading Simone's space. "You need to leave right now before this gets worse for you." Simone adjusted Zoe, bouncing her gently, trying to calm her daughter while her own heart pounded. "I'm not leaving. I have every right to be here." "Rights?" Madison's laugh was vicious. "You people always talk about rights. You don't have the right to be here. This is a private establishment. We choose our guests. And we don't choose people who show up in cheap dresses with screaming bobbies trying to pretend they belong." "My dress cost $400. Simone's voice stayed calm. Deadly calm. "My reservation is legitimate and my daughter is crying because you just assaulted me." "Assaulted?" Madison's eyes went wide with fake shock. "Everyone here saw you try to grab my reservation book. I was defending restaurant property." "Derek, you saw it, right?" Derek looked at the floor, said nothing. "See." Madison smiled triumphantly. "Now leave before I call the police. Call them." Simone's voice was still. "Please call them. Let's get this on record." Madison's smile faltered for a second, then she pulled out her phone. "Fine, have it your way." She dialed, put the phone to her ear, waited. "Yes, I need police at Label Auto Restaurant on Madison Avenue." Her voice changed, became breathless, afraid. "There's a woman here causing a disturbance. She tried to assault me. She's refusing to leave. She has a baby with her and I'm worried about the child's safety." Simone's stomach dropped. The lie was blatant, obvious, but Madison delivered it perfectly. "She's becoming more aggressive." Madison's voice trembled now, acting, I don't know if she's on drugs or what, but please hurry, I'm scared. Yes, she's black, about 56. Black dress. Yes, a baby, maybe 6 months old. I don't know if it's even hers. Please send someone quickly. She hung up, looked at Simone with satisfaction. They'll be here in 5 minutes. And we all know how this ends, don't we? Resisting arrest, assaulting an officer, child endangerment. Each phrase landed like a blow. Your baby will be in foster care by midnight. Zoe screamed louder. Simone held her close, whispering soft words. It's okay, baby, Mama's here, it's okay. The elderly couple approached. The woman spoke first, her voice firm. Excuse me, but I saw everything. This young woman did nothing wrong. You struck her first. Madison turned on her. Ma'am, I appreciate your concern, but you must be mistaken. Please return to your table. I know what I saw. The woman's husband nodded. We both saw it. That was assault. And your phone call was full of lies, sir. With all due respect, you should mind your own business. Madison's voice turned icy. Unless you want to be asked to leave as well. The couple exchanged glances, but they didn't back down. The woman kept her phone up recording. More diners were recording now. At least 6 phones pointed at the scene. Madison noticed. Her confidence wavered slightly, but she pushed forward. All of you need to put your phones away. Recording in this restaurant is prohibited. It's posted on the door. Nobody lowered their phones. A young white woman in the corner stood up. I'm a lawyer. What you're doing is illegal discrimination. Multiple witnesses will testify to that. Madison's face flushed red. Derek, get these people under control. Derek raised his hands helplessly. Everyone, please, let's just calm down. And calm down. The elderly woman's voice rose. That hostess just assaulted a customer and filed a false police report. You're the manager and you're doing nothing. Derek's face went pale. He looked at Simone, at Madison, at the growing crowd of witnesses, and still he did nothing. Kitchen staff appeared in the doorway to the dining room. 2 Latino cooks, a black dishwasher, an Asian prep chef. They watched with knowing eyes. They'd seen this before. Maybe not this extreme, but they'd seen Madison's racism, felt it themselves. One of the cooks pulled out his phone, started recording. Madison saw it. All kitchen staff, back to your stations now. They didn't move. Outside, red and blue lights flashed through the windows. A police cruiser pulled up, then another. Madison's smile returned. Triumphant, cruel, here we go, now we'll see who belongs and who doesn't. She looked directly at Simone. You should have left when I told you to. Now you're going to jail. And that baby, she's going straight to Child Protective Services. Simone stood perfectly still. Zoe had quieted slightly, sensing her mother's tension. Simone's mind raced. She could leave, should leave. Protect Zoe from whatever was about to happen. But if she left, Madison won. Madison would do this to someone else, someone without resources, someone without witnesses, someone without a voice. No, this ended here tonight. The restaurant door opened. 2 officers walked in, 1 white, 1 Latino. Their hands rested near their belts, near their weapons. Madison rushed toward them. Officers, thank God you're here. That woman, she pointed at Simone. She attacked me. She tried to force her way into the restaurant. When I asked her to leave, she became violent. I'm afraid for my safety. The white officer looked at Simone. His face hardened immediately. His hand moved to his gun. Everything was about to get so much worse. Officer Jennings stepped forward. 42 years old, crew-cut, cold blue eyes that had already decided Simone was guilty. Officer Martinez hung back, younger, uncomfortable. His eyes moved from Simone to the crowd of witnesses. Ma'am, I need you to step outside now. Jennings's hand stayed near his weapon. His voice carried the weight of assumed authority. Simone adjusted Zoe carefully. Officer, I'm the victim here. This woman assaulted me. I have witnesses. I have a confirmed reservation that she's refusing to honor because I said outside. Jennings cut her off. We can do this the easy way or the hard way, your choice. Madison stayed behind Jennings like he was a shield. Her eyes glistened with fake tears. She grabbed me. Officer, right here. She touched her wrist. I was so scared. And the baby was crying so loud. I think something might be wrong with it. Her name is Zoe. Simone's voice stayed level. And she's crying because your hostess slapped me in front of her. That's a lie. Madison's voice broke. Perfect performance. I never touched her. She's making this up because I wouldn't give her a table without a reservation. Then she became violent. The elderly couple pushed forward. Officer, that's not true. We saw the whole thing. The hostess struck her first, then made a false police report. Jennings barely glanced at them. Sir, ma'am, please step back. Let me handle this. But we're witnesses, the woman insisted. Step back or I'll cite you for interfering with police business. Jennings' voice went hard. The couple hesitated, then stepped back, but the woman kept her phone up, recording everything. Jennings turned back to Simone. Outside, last warning. Simone looked at Martinez. The younger officer's face showed conflict, but he said nothing. She walked toward the door. Zoe whimpered against her shoulder. Simone whispered, "It's okay, sweet girl. Mama's got you." Outside, the evening air felt cold. The valet area was bright with street lights. Expensive cars lined the curb. A small crowd had gathered. More phones came out. Someone was live streaming. Jennings followed close behind. Too close, invading her space. Put the baby down. What? Simone turned. Why would I put it down now? I need to talk to you and I need your hands visible. She's 6 months old. I'm not putting my baby on the ground. Simone's voice rose for the first time. That's insane. It's a safety issue, ma'am. Jennings stepped closer. You could be hiding a weapon. You could use that baby as cover. Put it down or I'll take it from you. Fear shot through Simone's chest. Real fear. You can't take my daughter. I can and I will if you don't comply. Jennings' hand moved to his belt. Final warning. Martinez spoke up. Jennings, come on, man. She's got a baby. Just talk to her. I've got this, Martinez. Jennings didn't take his eyes off Simone. You want to question my judgment. You want to write the report explaining why you let a suspect maintain control of a potential hostage. Hostage. Simone's voice cracked. She's my daughter. I have her birth certificate in my bag, her medical records, pictures on my phone. Let me see that bag. Jennings grabbed it. Simone turned her body, protecting Zoe. You need probable cause to search me. What crime do you think I committed? Trespassing on private property, assault, resisting police orders, that's 3 crimes. Jennings' face flushed red. Now give me the bag or we're taking you in, and Child Protective Services takes the baby. The crowd gasped. Someone shouted, "This is wrong." Jennings spun toward them. Everyone back up, this is police business. Anyone who interferes will be arrested. The young lawyer from inside stepped forward. Officer, I'm an attorney. You cannot search her without probable cause. You cannot separate her from her child without evidence of abuse or neglect. What you're doing is illegal, ma'am. I'm going to ask you one time to step back. Jennings's hand moved to his handcuffs. Don't make me ask twice. The lawyer stood her ground. I'm not interfering. I'm observing. That's my legal right. And I'm recording every word for the civil rights lawsuit this woman is going to file. Jennings's jaw clenched, but he turned back to Simone. The bag now or your daughter goes to CPS tonight. You'll be lucky to see her again by Christmas. Simone's hands trembled. Zoe was crying hard now, sensing her mother's fear. Every instinct screamed at Simone to run, to protect her baby, to get away from this man who had a gun and a badge and hate in his eyes. But running would make it worse. Running always made it worse. Fine, her voice barely whispered. Fine, just please don't take my baby. She handed him the diaper bag with her free hand. Jennings grabbed it, unzipped it roughly, dumped the contents onto the sidewalk. Diapers tumbled out. Wipes, a bottle, baby clothes, pacifiers. Simone's wallet, her phone, her keys, her hospital ID badge clattered across the concrete. Jennings picked it up, studied it. Metropolitan General Hospital. Dr. Simone Harper, Chief of Pediatric Surgery. He read it aloud, voice dripping with mockery. Right, you steal this from someone. That's my ID, I am Dr. Harper, sure you are. Jennings tossed it back onto the pile, and I'm the Surgeon General. You know how many fake IDs I see every week? Call the hospital. Simone's composure cracked. Call them right now. They'll confirm who I am. I'm not calling anyone based on a fake badge. Jennings kicked through the pile of baby supplies. Where are the drugs? The stolen credit cards? What else you got in here? There's nothing. Simone's voice rose. This is harassment. This is racial profiling. Oh, here we go. Jennings stood up, stepped close, playing the race card. You people always do. Can't take responsibility for your own actions, so you blame racism. Martinez shifted uncomfortably. Jennings, maybe we should just Martinez, I swear to God, if you second-guess me one more time. Jennings whirled on him. You write the report, then you explain to the sergeant why you let a trespassing suspect walk. Martinez went quiet. The elderly couple pushed forward again. Officer, we have video of everything that happened inside. The hostess assaulted her. We can show you right now. Jennings ignored them. He pulled out his own phone, took a picture of Simone's scattered belongings on the sidewalk, then a picture of Simone holding Zoe. For the report, he said, making it sound official, making it sound justified. But Simone saw it for what it was. Humiliation, documentation of her degradation, evidence for a false narrative he was already constructing. Pick up your things. Jennings gestured at the mess. Slowly, one hand. Keep the other one where I can see it. I'm holding my daughter. Simone's control was slipping. How am I supposed to pick things up with one hand while holding a baby? Figure it out. Jennings crossed his arms, or leave it. Your choice. Simone knelt awkwardly. Zoe wailed against her chest. She tried to scoop diapers back into the bag with one hand. It was impossible. Items fell, rolled away. A woman from the crowd rushed forward. Let me help you, stay back. Jennings barked. Do not touch anything, that's evidence. Evidence of what? The woman's voice shook with anger. Evidence that she's a mother with a baby. More people crowded closer. The valet Carlos stepped forward. I saw her arrive. She was calm, respectful. She did nothing wrong. Everyone needs to disperse. Jennings's hand moved to his radio. I'm calling for backup if this crowd doesn't clear out right now. But they didn't move. The phones kept recording. The live stream counter climbed. Hundreds of viewers, then thousands. Someone shouted, "This is 2024, we see you. The whole world sees you." Jennings's face went darker, angrier. You're all interfering with an active police investigation. I can arrest every single one of you. For what? The young lawyer's voice cut through. For witnessing your illegal search, for documenting your civil rights violations. Go ahead, officer. Arrest us all. Let's see how that plays in court. Jennings looked around on the phones, at the crowd, at the growing number of witnesses who wouldn't be silent or scared. He was losing control. And men like Jennings hated losing control. He turned back to Simone. She was still on her knees trying to gather her things. Zoe screams, her dignity scattered across cold concrete alongside diapers and baby wipes. Stand up. Jennings grabbed her arm, yanked her upward. Simone stumbled, nearly dropped Zoe. Don't touch me. You're under arrest for resisting police orders, trespassing, and assault. Jennings pulled out handcuffs. Put the baby down now. No, Simone's voice broke. Please, you can't do this. I haven't done anything. Martinez finally stepped forward. Jennings, man, this is too much. She hasn't resisted. She's been compliant. Just let her go. She's resisting right now. Jennings pointed at Simone. She won't put the baby down. That's resisting because you're trying to separate a mother from her infant for no legal reason. Martinez's voice rose. This is wrong, and you know it. The two officers faced each other. Tension crackled between them. The crowd held its breath. Simone clutched Zoe tight. Her mind raced. She needed help, real help, someone with power, someone these men would actually listen to. She had one phone call, one person who might change everything. She just had to get to her phone. It lay on the ground 3 feet away, mixed in with diapers and baby clothes. Her lifeline scattered like trash, Officer Jennings. Simone's voice came out steady, calm, despite the fear coursing through her. I need to make a phone call. That's my legal right. Whether I'm detained or arrested, I have the right to one call. You're not under arrest yet. Jennings smiled cold. So no, you don't get a call. Then let me go, not until we sort this out. Then I am being detained, which means I have rights. Simone stood straighter. I'm going to pick up my phone and make one call. If you try to stop me, every camera here records you violating my constitutional rights. Jennings hesitated. The phones, the witnesses, the lawyer taking notes. Martinez watching him with judgment in his eyes. Fine. He spat the word. One call, make it quick and put that baby down first. No. Simone bent down, grabbed her phone, kept Zoe secure against her chest. I'm making my call. You can either wait or arrest me, but either way, the whole world is watching. She unlocked her phone with shaking fingers and dialed the one number that would change everything. The phone rang twice. A man answered. Dr. Harper, I was just about to call you about Monday's board meeting. Jonathan listened carefully. Simone's voice cut through. I'm outside Label Idyll, your restaurant. Your hostess physically assaulted me, refused my reservation, called the police with false accusations, and right now this officer is threatening to take my daughter into custody. Silence. Then Jonathan Wright's voice changed completely. Madison Pierce, the hostess. Where's Derek? Your manager watched it happen. Did nothing. Put the officer on now. Simone held out her phone to Jennings. The CEO of Elysian Dining Collective wants to speak with you. Jennings grabbed it roughly. This is Officer Jennings. We're responding to a trespassing complaint. The situation is under control. Jonathan's voice exploded through the speaker. Loud enough for the whole crowd to hear. Under control. You're detaining Dr. Simone Harper, board member of Metropolitan General Hospital, the surgeon who saved my grandson's life last year. Jennings went pale. Sir, You didn't ask. You saw a black woman and assumed criminal. Jonathan's rage was palpable. You threatened to take her child. Do you understand what you've done? Martinez stepped closer, recognition dawning on his face. Dr. Harper from the Metropolitan General Jennings. She's the chief of pediatric surgery. I can see the videos already. Jonathan's voice went cold. They're trending. Millions of views. I watched Madison strike her. I watched your illegal search. Every second is documented. The crowd erupted, phones everywhere. The live stream counter exploded. Inside the restaurant window, Madison's face showed confusion. Then terror. Something had gone very wrong. Derek stood frozen beside her, hand over his mouth. Jonathan continued, Dr. Harper performed a 14-hour surgery on my grandson, inoperable tumor. She saved his life. She gave my daughter her son back. He paused, and tonight your hostess called her trash. You scattered her baby's belongings like garbage. Jennings tried to speak. His hand trembled. There's been a misunderstanding. No misunderstanding, just racism, just abuse of power. Jonathan's voice cracked. Put Dr. Harper back on. Jennings held out the phone like it was burning him. Simone took it calmly. I'm here. Simone, I'm so deeply sorry. Madison Pierce is fired immediately. Derek is suspended without pay. I'm 8 minutes away. Applause erupted from the crowd. Madison burst through the restaurant door. Wait, Mr. Wright, I didn't know who she was if I had known. Simone turned to face her, met her eyes directly. That's exactly the problem. 4 words, devastating. Madison's mouth opened, closed, no sound. The elderly couple stepped forward. We recorded everything. The slap, every insult. The valet spoke up. I've seen her refuse service to black customers before, multiple times. A kitchen worker emerged. She called me a last month. I reported it. Nothing happened. Another voice. She told me to go back to China. I was born here. The stories flooded out. Months of racism, years of discrimination, all documented now, all on camera, all undeniable. Derek backed away. I didn't know it was this extensive. You knew enough. The young lawyer pointed at him. You're the manager. You did nothing. That's complicity. Martinez turned to Jennings. We need to file an honest report about what actually happened. Jennings looked around wildly on the phones, the witnesses. His career dissolved. I was following procedure. You threatened to take her baby. That's not procedure. That's abuse of power. A black SUV pulled up, expensive executive plates. Jonathan Wright stepped out, 58. Silver hair, tailored suit, his face flushed with anger. He walked straight to Simone. Dr. Harper, I'm profoundly sorry. She stood there still holding Zoe, still surrounded by scattered baby supplies. Words are easy, Jonathan. What happens next? He turned to face Madison. Derek, the cameras, the world is watching. What happens next is accountability, real consequences. He pulled out his phone. Security is on the way. Madison, you're terminated, effective immediately. Derek, you're suspended pending investigation. Both of you will be escorted from the premises. Madison's voice rose desperate. Please, my father knows the regional manager. I've worked here for 3 years. Your connections won't save you. Jonathan's voice was ice. You assaulted a customer. You committed racial discrimination. You filed a false police report. You're done. He turned to the crowd, to the cameras. Elysian Dining Collective condemns racism in all forms. This behavior does not represent our values. We will conduct a full investigation across all our locations. Changes start tonight. Simone spoke quietly. I don't want just words, Jonathan. I want systemic change. You'll have it. You have my word. He looked at her. You have my personal guarantee that this never happens again. 2 security officers arrived, approached Madison and Derek. Madison tried one last time, turned to Simone, tears streaming. I'm sorry, I didn't mean please. I was just doing my job. Simone said nothing, just held her daughter, her dignity intact. Her power is undeniable. Security escorted Madison toward the exit. She was crying, makeup running, career destroyed. Derek followed, head down, silent, ashamed. The crowd watched them go. Justice playing out in real time. The tables had completely turned. Security guards flanked Madison, one on each side. She twisted away from their grip, mascara streaking down her face. Please, Mr. Wright, my father will call you. He's friends with the board. We can fix this. Jonathan didn't even look at her. Your father's connections mean nothing. You committed assault, racial discrimination, false police report. You're terminated. Security will escort you out. But I've worked here for 3 years. Madison's voice cracked. Desperate now, I know all the regulars. I bring in wealthy clients. You can't just, you're trespassing now. Jonathan's voice was flat. Leave voluntarily or I'll have you arrested. Madison turned to the crowd, to the witnesses. You don't understand. She tried to grab the book. I was protecting restaurant property. I was doing my job. The elderly woman stepped forward. We all saw you slap her first. We saw everything. Your lies won't work. I wasn't lying. Madison's eyes were wild. Panicked. She doesn't belong here. Look at her. This is a 5-star restaurant. We have standards. The words hung in the air. Damning, undeniable, caught on 7 different cameras. Jonathan's jaw clenched. Get her out now. Security pulled Madison toward the exit. She fought, screamed, "This is unfair. I didn't know who she was. If someone had told me she was important, everyone is important." Simone's voice cut through the chaos. Quiet, powerful. "That's what you'll never understand." Madison's face contorted with rage. "You think you've won? Do you think this changes anything? There are 1,000 restaurants in this city. I'll work somewhere better, somewhere that appreciates. No restaurant will hire you." The young lawyer held up her phone. "This video has 2 million views already. Your name is trending. Your face is everywhere. Your career is over." Madison's legs seemed to give out. Security had to hold her up. "No, no, this can't be happening. This isn't fair, fair." The kitchen worker who'd been called a slur stepped forward. "You want to talk about fair? After what you've done to us, to her? To everyone you looked down on," other staff members emerged. The dishwasher, the prep chef, a server who'd stayed quiet for years. "She made me cry in the bathroom every week," the server said, "called me stupid. Said I was lucky to have a job. She threw food at me once," the prep chef added. "Said Asians should stick to takeout." The stories came fast. Each one a nail in Madison's coffin. She stopped fighting, just hung between the security guards, sobbing, broken. They dragged her out past the valet, past the onlookers, into the night where her BMW waited, her privileged life crumbling around her. Derek stood frozen near the entrance. Jonathan turned to him. "You're suspended without pay pending a full investigation. If we find you enabled this behavior, you're done permanently." Derek's voice came out. "I should have stopped her. I should have intervened. I was a coward." "Yes, you were." Jonathan didn't soften it. "How many times did this happen? How many people did you watch her abuse?" Derek looked at the ground. "I don't know. Maybe 20, maybe more. I told myself it wasn't my problem. I had bills, kids in college. I couldn't afford to lose this job, so you let other people lose their dignity instead." Simone's words landed like stones. "Every time you stayed silent, you chose your comfort over someone else's humanity." Derek's face crumpled. "Face, I know. God, I know. Is there anything I can do? Any way to make this right? You can leave." Jonathan gestured to security. "We'll be in touch about the investigation. Don't contact any staff members. Don't try to influence the process." Derek nodded, walked toward his car like a man heading to execution. His shoulders slumped. His career is in ruins. Inside the restaurant, diners whispered. Some looked ashamed. They'd watched it all happen, too. They'd done nothing. Jonathan turned to Simone. "Please come inside. The best table, everything is complimentary. Lifetime VIP status, whatever you need." Simone looked at the restaurant, at the place where Daniel had proposed, where she'd planned to honor his memory, the place that had destroyed that memory tonight. "I need to go home, Jonathan. My daughter needs to sleep. I need to process this." Of course, of course." Jonathan pulled out his phone. "I'm calling my personal driver. He'll take you home." And Simone. His voice broke slightly. "This was unacceptable, unforgivable. I will make sure it never happens again. Not here, not at any of our locations. I'll hold you to that." Simone adjusted Zoe, who had finally fallen asleep, against her shoulder. "Real change, not just PR statements. Real change, you have my word." Martinez approached carefully. "Dr. Harper, I need to file an incident report, an accurate one. Would you be willing to give a statement?" "Yes." Simone looked at Jennings, who stood off to the side, pale, silent. "Will it include Officer Jennings's conduct? It will include everything." Martinez's voice was firm. "The illegal search, the threats, all of it." Jennings finally spoke. His voice is small. "Dr. Harper, I didn't know. You didn't ask." Simone met his eyes. "You saw a black woman with a baby and you assumed I was a criminal. You threatened to take my child. Those aren't mistakes, officer. Those are choices. I was responding to a call. Following protocol. Threatening to take a baby is not protocol." Martinez cut him off. "You crossed the line, multiple lines, and I'm documenting every single one." The elderly couple approached Simone. "We're sending our videos to you, to the police, to the news. Everyone needs to see this. Thank you." Simone's voice was thick with emotion. "Thank you for not looking away. We couldn't." The woman's eyes glistened. "We have grandchildren. We kept thinking, what if someone treated them this way? What if no one spoke up?" More witnesses came forward, offering videos, contact information, statements. The valet, Carlos, approached shyly. "Dr. Harper, I'm so sorry. I should have come inside. I should have said something sooner. You spoke up when it mattered." Simone touched his arm gently. "Thank you." A black town car pulled up, Jonathan's driver. Simone gathered her scattered belongings. Witnesses helped, picking up diapers, wipes, her wallet, her phone, treating each item with care, with respect, the respect Madison had denied her. She climbed into the car. Zoe is still sleeping, still innocent, still unaware that her mother had just changed something important. As the car pulled away, Simone looked back at the restaurant, at the crowd. The phones are still recording. The video was already going viral. Hashtags trending, news alerts pinging. By morning, the whole world would know Madison Pierce's name, would know what she'd done, would know what happened when hate met consequences. Justice served cold and swift, but this was just the beginning. The video hit 5 million views by midnight, 10 million by morning. Every major news outlet picked it up. Every social media platform exploded with reaction. Racist hostess assaults black doctor trended #1 nationally, then globally. By Monday morning, protesters gathered outside Label. Signs reading Black excellence matters and racism has consequences lined the sidewalk. News vans blocked the street. Reporters shouted questions at anyone entering or leaving. The restaurant stayed closed. Jonathan Wright released a statement. We are conducting a comprehensive investigation into discriminatory practices across all Elysian dining locations. Dr. Simone Harper has been appointed to our corporate advisory board to oversee equity and inclusion reforms. But Simone wanted more than corporate statements. She wanted legal accountability. Her attorney filed charges within 48 hours. Against Madison Pierce, assault and battery, filing a false police report, violation of civil rights under state law. Against Officer Jennings, illegal search and seizure, abuse of authority under color of law, threatening the welfare of a minor, civil rights violations. Against Derek Carter, complicity and discrimination, failure to intervene, creating a hostile public accommodation. The district attorney reviewed the evidence. 7 videos from different angles, dozens of witness statements. Officer Martinez's official report confirming Jennings' misconduct. All 3 were formally charged within a week. Media coverage intensified. Morning shows interviewed Simone. She sat in her hospital office, Zoe on her lap, and spoke with quiet power. This isn't about me. This happens every day to people who don't have resources, who don't have cameras, who don't have a platform. Her voice was steady, clear. I'm fighting for every black mother who's been told she doesn't belong, every person of color who's been dehumanized. This has to stop. The interview went viral. 20 million views in 2 days. Civil rights organizations rallied. The NAACP issued statements. Legal advocacy groups offered support. The story became a national conversation about racism in public accommodations. Madison Pierce's trial came first. Municipal courthouse, packed gallery. News cameras lined the hallway. Madison entered wearing a modest dress, hair pulled back, makeup minimal, her expensive lawyer beside her. The prosecution presented video evidence, all 7 angles. The slap was heard clearly. Madison's words were captured perfectly. Ghetto trash. Welfare baby, you're kind. Witnesses testified. The elderly couple described what they saw. Carlos the valet explained Madison's pattern of discrimination. Kitchen staff detailed years of racist abuse. Madison's defense tried to paint her as stressed, overworked, having a bad day. The prosecutor destroyed it. A bad day is spilling coffee. A bad day is missing the bus. A bad day is not assaulting a customer and calling her racial slurs. That's hate. That's a choice. That's a crime. Former customers came forward. A black businessman, Madison had refused service to an Asian woman she'd mocked. A Latino family she turned away. The pattern was undeniable. The jury deliberated for 3 hours. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing came 2 weeks later. Madison stood as the judge read the verdict. You used your position to humiliate and harm people based on race. You filed false reports endangering an infant. You showed no remorse until you faced consequences. The judge's voice was hard. 90 days in county jail, 200 hours of community service at the Cultural Diversity Center, mandatory counseling for racial bias, permanent criminal record. Madison collapsed into her chair. Her lawyer caught her. She sobbed openly. Her father stood in the back, stone-faced. His connections couldn't save her now. Officer Jennings's trial followed. Same courthouse, bigger crowd, more media. The prosecution brought devastating evidence. Body camera footage from Martinez showing everything. Audio of Jennings threatening to take Zoe. Video of the illegal search. Then came the history. 17 prior complaints of racial profiling, all swept under the rug, all ignored by his department. Officer Martinez testified as the prosecution's star witness. Jennings has a pattern. I've seen it for years. He targets people of color, uses excessive force, makes assumptions based on race. I should have reported it sooner. I didn't. That's on me. Expert witnesses explained racial profiling, constitutional rights, proper police procedure. Jennings's defense claimed he was following protocol, responding appropriately to a trespassing call. The prosecution played the video. Jennings threatening a baby, dumping baby supplies on the ground, mocking Simone's medical credentials. "That's not protocol," the prosecutor said. "That's tyranny." That's a man who believed his badge made him above the law. The jury deliberated 5 hours, guilty on all charges. The judge showed no mercy. "You took an oath to serve and protect. Instead, you weaponized your badge against an innocent woman and child. You threatened to separate a mother from her infant. You conducted an illegal search to humiliate her. You have 17 prior incidents showing this wasn't an isolated mistake. This was who you are." He paused. Let it sink in. 6 months in county jail, immediate termination from the police force, loss of pension, permanent ban from law enforcement. "You will never wear a badge again." Jennings's face went blank. His career, his pension, his identity, all gone. He was led away in handcuffs. The same handcuffs he'd threatened to use on Simone. Derek Carter's case was civil, not criminal. But the consequences were real. The investigation found he'd witnessed Madison's discrimination at least 40 times over 2 years. He'd received complaints from staff, from customers, from corporate HR. He'd done nothing, filed no reports, taken no action. Elysian Dining fired him, permanently banned from their company. His professional reputation was destroyed. Then came the civil lawsuits. Simone's attorney filed against multiple parties against Madison, Pierce personally $200,000 for assault, emotional distress, civil rights violations. Madison would never pay at all, but the judgment would follow her forever against the police department, $2.5 million. The settlement included mandatory reforms, body cameras required to stay on, de-escalation training, civilian oversight board, community policing initiatives against Elysian Dining Collective, $1.8 million. The settlement required systemic changes across all 127 locations, mandatory anti-bias training monthly, anonymous reporting systems for discrimination, diverse hearing requirements at management levels, Dr. Harper on the corporate advisory board with real power to enforce change. The money didn't matter to Simone. She donated most of it to civil rights organizations, to legal defense funds for people who couldn't afford attorneys, to families fighting similar battles. What mattered was the change. Within 3 months, Elysian Dining had fired 8 more managers for discriminatory practices, promoted 15 employees of color to leadership positions, implemented new training protocols. The police department saw complaints of racial profiling drop 40%. Officer Martinez was promoted to sergeant, made head of bias recognition training. Madison Pierce served her jail time, worked her community service hours, took her mandated counseling. She got a job after release, minimum wage, retail. Her coworkers recognized her from the viral video. Some refused to work with her. Others treated her with the same contempt she'd shown others. She learned what it felt like to be on the receiving end. Officer Jennings served his sentence, lost everything. His wife divorced him. His kids stopped calling. He applied for security jobs. No one would hire him. The viral video followed him everywhere. Derek Carter enrolled in diversity education programs, wrote public apologies, donated to racial justice organizations. He understood that redemption wasn't forgiveness. It was just doing better, being better. Even when no one was watching, the changes rippled outward. Other restaurant chains reviewed their practices. Police departments nationwide examined their training. The conversation about racism in public spaces grew louder, harder to ignore. All because one woman refused to accept hate as normal, refused to walk away, refused to let injustice win. 6 months after that night, the world looked different, not perfect, not fixed, but changed. Real consequences, real accountability, real progress, justice finally served. 6 months later, Simone sat in her office at Metropolitan General Hospital. Sunlight poured through the windows. Awards lined the walls. A new one read, Civic Leadership Award for Advancing Racial Justice. Zoe, now 1 year old, played with blocks on the floor. Happy, safe, unaware her mother had changed the world. Simone faced her phone camera, pressed record. People ask if I regret going to that restaurant, if I wish I'd just walked away. Her voice was calm, powerful. I couldn't walk away, not for me, not for Zoe, not for every black mother told she doesn't belong. She leaned forward. That night wasn't about a reservation. It was about recognition that we're human, that we deserve dignity, that we deserve justice. Behind her, photos told her story. Medical school, surgery, her wedding. Daniel's smile frozen in time. Madison Pierce saw someone beneath her. Officer Jennings thought he could intimidate me. Derek Carter thought silence would protect him. She paused. They learned hate has consequences. Zoe giggled, reaching for her shoe. Simone smiled softly, then looked back at the camera. But here's what you need to understand. I had resources, connections, platform. I made one call and everything changed. Her expression hardened. What about mothers who can't? Fathers without cameras? Teenagers facing this daily without witnesses or power? She let the questions settle. This can't be about one viral video. It must be about systemic change. Her voiceover continued over images. Simone walking hospital halls, nurses greeting her, patients smiling. Life continues. Changed. That video got 50 million views. Elysian Dining reformed 127 restaurants. Police complaints dropped 40%. Madison lost her career. Jennings lost everything. Derrick lost the job he protected through silence. A young black patient waved. Simone waved back. But more importantly, people started paying attention, speaking up, recording, refusing to accept hate as normal. Back in her office, holding Zoe now, safe against her chest. I didn't plan to be an activist that night. I was a mother honoring my husband's memory. But justice demands more than silence. It demands action, witnesses, voices. She looked at Zoe, touched her daughter's hair gently. Zoe will know that when someone tried to diminish her mother, the world said no. Cameras came out. Witnesses stood up. Her eyes glistened. That's the legacy I'm fighting for. Direct to camera now, unwavering. So I'm asking you, next time you witness injustice, what will you do? Record, speak up, stand with someone who needs your voice, or look away because it's easier. The weight hung heavy. If this moved you, don't just scroll. Take action. Share this so others know they're not alone. Follow for more justice stories. Comment below. Have you witnessed discrimination? What did you do? Her voice stayed strong. Every view matters. Every share says accountability matters, that we won't be silent. She stood, Zoe on her hip. Both are strong. Both proof that dignity cannot be taken. One final question. Simone's eyes locked on camera. If you were in that restaurant that night, what would you have done? Silence stretched. Really think. Would you record, speak up, or look at your plate and pretend not to see? Heavy pause. Your answer matters because right now someone stands where I stood, hoping someone will stand with them. Her final words rang clear. Be that someone. Text appeared, based on real accounts of discrimination. Justice is possible when we demand it. #StandUpASpeakout/justice served. Subscribe, share, comment, follow buttons appeared. Anti-discrimination resource links scrolled. Final image. Simone and Zoe walking from the hospital into sunlight, moving forward unbroken. The fight continued. The work remained, but hope lived in justice, hard-won and fiercely protected, prevailed. At Black Voices Uncut, we don't polish away the pain or water down the message. We tell it like it is because the truth deserves nothing less. If today's story spoke to you, click like, join the conversation in the comments, and subscribe so you'll be here for the next